personally am very excited because I'm about to start the first official freeze drying load. Um, it's crazy to think about. You know what? Let me put my mic on. So, I'm about to do the first load of our white Roselle tea. It's been building up. No, that's not right. About to do our first load of white Roselle calyxes, which can be used for tea once rehydrated, can be used for jam, making sauces, like whatever you want to use it for. We will primarily be using it for tea because that's how we prefer it. I've not made jam out of the white Roselle before, but the flavor is very similar to the red Roselle hibiscus. So I'm thinking it wouldn't be too bad to try it. But we have so much of it right now that there's enough to try a couple of different things, but we just need to get it preserved properly. So we've got probably about 6 gallons in the freezer, 6 gallon size bags that are stuffed pretty big. And then there's still more. It hasn't frozen yet here. So we still have quite a few of the leaves to harvest, and we still have quite a few calyxes. They're making slower now that the nights have kind of dropped into the 40s and the days are pretty cool too. But I noticed that we're about to get an uptick in temperatures during the day this coming weekend. So I want to go ahead and get, and they grow so quick. That's the other part. You wouldn't believe it. Like, they are related to okra and they grow just as fast. And when they are in production, they are in production, like seriously. So I want to go ahead and move out what we have in the freezer and start making use of our freeze dryer. We also want to go ahead and get some of these items ready for our rollout that we're going to be starting very soon. I'm still waiting on a couple of vendors to get back to me about setting up events at their facilities, but everything is in the works, and that is so exciting. Even if it doesn't plan out the way I want and we're not able to do any events right away, things will still be loaded on our website for purchase. And so either way, this is we're moving forward. I spoke earlier about forward movement, momentum, and staying on that momentum and riding it. We're just going to keep moving. Something as niche as white Roselle is not in this freeze dryer book. The thing about the freeze dryer, though, is that it does have the capacity to sense the moisture, and you can kind of work with that. So I'm just going to set it for I'm just going to hit start, and I'm probably going to do that for most of my items that I freeze dry until I start coming up with some more custom recipes and whatnot. For now, I'm just going to stick with the standard and let the freeze dryer do the most of the work for me. And then at the end of the processing time, I can go back and see, do I need to add more time? And I can make notes. And a really cool thing about this particular book is that it has a section in the back, and this comes with your freeze dryer. Let's get to it. There is a section here where you can put notes, and there are a few pages where you can keep those notes. And I like that because I am that one that makes a recipe or does something and it's a one-off and everybody loves it, and then I don't take the time to write it down or forget to. So I'm hoping that by just like having this nearby, and I will remember, hey, make a note. Also, by recording a lot of this for you, our supportive community, it also serves as like a video diary for me to be able to go back and be like, okay, yeah, I did this much time. And even if I do forget to write it down initially, I can go back to my videos and kind of use them to reference information to put into this. So that's the really cool thing about vlogging. It really does serve as the best note taking ever. And then when I'm going back and watching the videos, I'm like, I shouldn't have did that. Or, oh, I need to improve on my ankle. So it's a good way for me to go back and examine those videos, to look at them and see what I need to improve on. That's how I discovered that I was having a big issue with my audio through the watching the videos later. And so this just allows me to be able to continue to improve the video quality and our content so that we're putting out something that is going to be enjoyable, but also educational for you guys. So when you say we go ahead and get started. Now I've already washed my trays up yesterday, but I'm just going to wipe them down again. And the white Roselle, I don't feel like it's like sticky or anything, so I'm not going to use a silicone tray. I'm just going to put them directly on the trays. I said I'm not going to use a silicone tray. I'm not going to use a silicone mat. I'm just going to put the calyxes directly on the tray. I think I need to close this and hit start, right? Okay. So it's starting. It's going to be 15 minutes is what it's saying before it will be ready to accept the trays. And so since my Roselle calyxes are already frozen, I'm going to wait until all I got to do is like pour them out of the bag and put them on the tray, you know. So I'm not going to take them out right now, but I will come back in about 15 minutes or so and we'll get those loaded in. Okay, so we are at the point where it says to close the drain valve, and we'll load trays and then close the drain valve. That's where we are. So I'm just going to wash my hands right quick, and then I don't know how much we'll be able to get onto these. So let's start with these two. All right, so now that we have our trays ready, I don't want to forget to close that valve. So I'm going to go around to the back of the freeze dryer and do that. And then I'm going to get these trays loaded. I haven't brought it out of the bedroom yet, but I have a stool by the bed for like when I'm having those bad body days and I can't kind of like hop myself up to the bed, and I'll have to like use my stool to get up. Ooh, this thing is cold. I'm gonna have to bring that in here, I think, because it's just going to be more of a convenience for pulling things in and out of this freeze dryer. But that's where those stackers would come in handy. I don't know is it okay for things to be touching this top shelf? Oh, gracious, I may have too much. It's just the shape of them. Some of them I broke in half to where they're more flat, and some of them were still pretty round. So those more rounded ones were touching the top, which would, I guess that would be the warming plate. All right. Okay, so I am going to load the tray. So now I'm going to press continue. And then it says freezing. Now that process should not be very long as we pre-froze these. We'll see how long it takes. I'll let you know. It's at 31 degrees now. It shouldn't be very long of a process. And put this little bag back in the freezer for our next batch. So while this is going, I'm going to go ahead and get out our lids because I want to go ahead and start pre-freezing some lemons to go into the freeze dryer, and I have some goji berries that need to go, lemons, and I need to pre-freeze onions and garlic. Now I'm not going to do all of that together. Probably do the onions, garlic, and the peppers that I harvested today. Those also need to be done. So on one batch, I'll probably do the peppers, the onions, and the garlic, because there's not a whole lot of either of those. And I probably will just take it all, and after it's freeze dried, pulse it all together with some salt and make like a nice balanced seasoning. We love all three of those things and everything. Peppers, onions, and garlic are a staple around here. I cannot grow enough of either of those ever. Do you share that problem? Because it's definitely a problem for us. We are a family of 4 living here, and our son comes over and eats with us from time to time too. And also he eats from the garden and, the chickens and stuff. And so, like, how much are you supposed to plant? 4 or 5 people. Like, I've seen the charts. I know that the charts exist, and I have tried to plant according to that, but there just does not seem to be enough. And we do have some big back behavior around here. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna lie about that. So, we're just figuring it out as we go. So I also need to do some rosemary. Our rosemary bush is out of control. It could use a good trimming back. So I'm going to use some of that to preserve for spices and whatnot. But also I'm going to take some of that and trim for propagating plants for next season's spring plant sale. So since we have our little mini greenhouse within the high tunnel now, we can take those plants and still be able to care for them throughout the winter, and they'll be fine. So much to do, so little time. I'm going to go ahead and get started on getting those items prepped, and that will probably be another video. So just come back. You'll see me probably in this. Yeah, I will be in this. I'm not changing. I'll be in the same outfit. You like my fit? Okay. One of these days, I'm going to get back on my paparazzi. Everything that I'm wearing as far as the jewelry today is paparazzi jewelry. And this is just a plug for them because I love them. And their jewelry is good quality for very good prices. And so, and the way that I am when it comes to jewelry, like, I'm very quick to just kind of pull it off wherever I am. If I'm irritated by it, kind of like you've seen me do with my wigs, they just gotta go. They gotta go when they gotta go. I'm not comfortable with it anymore, and it just is what it is. And so my jewelry is the same way. And so I will just pull it off and lay it somewhere, and I know that I'm doing this. And eventually it does make it back to the jewelry box, but sometimes it is lost for a good month or year or so. And then I eventually find it. I don't have to feel so bad about it being lost if I'm not spending a whole lot of money on it. But then also I don't have to worry about it breaking me out because it is good quality jewelry. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's my paparazzi plug. And when I do get back on it, I will have my link in the videos for the pieces that I am wearing during my videos, because y'all know it is okay to look cute at home. And that's going to be my tag. That's going to be my tagline for my paparazzi, because you can look cute at home. Some people be like, girl, you got on this, you got on that. This is what I need to do for my self-worth. It's what I need to do to feel good as a stay-at-home mother and wife, a homesteader. If I want to throw on some makeup and if I want to put on a prom dress, that's what makes me feel good. You should love it, because it works for me. It is what it is. Everybody does different things to make themselves feel good, and let's just not judge each other for that, because peace and happiness are hard to come by nowadays, and lasting peace and happiness are just not possible by human beings. So that's a whole other issue. But what you can do reasonably to make yourself smile and feel good about yourself. And plus, you know, I like my husband to come home to see somebody looking half decent some of the days, some of the time. All right, I'm gonna go cut some lemons. Remember to grow big from home and be cute at home. Catch you in the next video. Okay, so I wanted to know what the drying time was on this, because I did fall asleep waiting on it. I think it was like at like 6 or 7 hours, somewhere in there, when I fell asleep last night. And so I came under more and found the area where you can look at the run time and the details or whatever. And I'm going to take a picture of this for my notes, but I'm also going to save it into the machine. I think if I enter product description, yeah, so I can put in white Roselle there, and I'll put in also that it was pre-frozen if it allows me to. So that's pretty cool.